What's up, everybody? This is Jason back with Campbell's Morel Music Rig Rundown. We're not running down any rigs, but we're running down how to write a riff. And we got three of the finest riff makers in the Tri-Cities. And they're going to do a little square table discussion. It's not really round. But
it's rounded.
It's rounded.
It's round enough, man. It's not going to hurt.
I'm going to step out of the way and let these guys talk about writing and what it takes to make a good riff. And three of the finest people I know, and Jarad Rogers, and Wes Lick, and Dylan Rutherford. Thanks for y'all hanging out here at Campbell's and supporting local music.
Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah,
man.
It's all about supporting local. That's what we're here for.
Absolutely.
We try.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Jason.
Yeah.
Sweet. Man, pretty much this whole thing kind of spawned from talking to probably you guys outside the hideaway all the time, or, like freaking water heater conversations about music.
Right.
And when I get to talk to y'all about this, it always makes me feel inspired and get to go home. And so the hope is that maybe some other people watch this, pick up a guitar, maybe write something cool.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Pull something out of it too. So I'm Wes Lick, like he said, and I've got Jarad and Dylan. They're both incredible musicians and writers in their own rights. And I'll just let you guys introduce yourselves too, if you want to talk a little bit about what you all do.
You go first, Jared.
All right. I'm Jarad Rogers. I play bass and nerve endings, primary writer for that band, and then guitar in Skeleton Pecker with you. The best band.
Am I an
in the
official
Tri-Cities.
member now?
Oh, you're in the band. And then Vespers. I play guitar in Vespers. I do a little bit of writing in that band. A lot of that's Marcus, but I kind of just fill in the gaps and add riffs and stuff mostly in that one. But yeah. And you're Dylan.
Yeah, I'm Dylan Rutherford. I play bass and do vocals in Coffin Smoke / Navajo Witch. And the Badass Boys, it's a kind of all genre band that we have for the film that we're working on. And those are only two bands. I feel like you guys have a greater list.
Oh, I left a few out.
What is the Badass Boys?
The Badass Boys is just kind of like an all genre band that we use for the movie, like the theme song. We've got like a country song that we had written, some weird synth tracks. We had a song for the Stink Bug Man with Wino on it.
Oh shit! Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Are you guys going to play like an after party for the music?
We might
for the
probably
screening?
play like a one-off show or something. I hope
That'd be sick.
be cool.
You should do that.
Right.
You should.
But we all wear ski masks and kind of go I'm not even supposed to be talking about it. We're supposed to it's kind of an anonymous we all circulate on who.
Some guy that looks a lot like you.
Yeah, pretty much. And Ben and Ross and Alan and all those guys too.
Harry boy.
Yeah.
Some guy that looks a lot like you.
Pretty
and then
much,
Ben Ross and Alan.
all the guys who already look the same anyway. Just those dudes.
The stoner metal crew.
Yeah.
Right.
You look like a proper
What about
stoner
you,
metal
Wes?
crew.
You Godsize.
Yeah, I play guitar in Godsize. Started it with him. Mm-hmm. He shifted to do some other stuff that we'll freaking talk about later on, I'm sure. But yeah, that's. I guess I play in Skeleton Pecker.
Playing Skeleton
when it's called upon.
Once a year or so.
We have 30-minute practice sessions for a 21-song set.
Exactly.
We do about 2 of them and then just hang on.
And then Jake leaves.
Old projects too. You've been in the scene for a minute.
Oh, that's okay.
Fingers
we don't have
crossed,
to go there.
baby. Nah, Fingers Crossed was a fucking great band.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
That was one of my first shows at the Hideaway, I think.
Was it really?
Some riffs.
Wow.
You guys opened that first I Hate God show there also, which was a gnarly hideaway show.
That was a sick one.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's lots of I feel like anytime they come through town, there's lots of off-air stories to be had.
There's a different
There's a
energy
few
in the
we'll
air.
share here.
I feel like you're not at the Hideaway, you're in another town. Which is kind of fun.
Right.
They bring a little New Orleans with them.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, man, we're here to talk to you guys about riffs, writing heavy riffs, listening to heavy riffs. Do y'all remember the first or earliest or even most recent riffs that grabbed your attention when you started tapping into the heaviness?
I think first riffs that I ever noticed were probably all classic rock radio, fucking Iron Man, Black Dog, your standards,
Black Dog, for sure.
Sabbath, Deep Purple, all that kind of stuff. I feel like that was the first time I noticed what a riff was. I feel like when I started learning stuff though it was all like, it was early 90s and it was all Nirvana, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains. Like I was fully just grunge kid.
Okay.
So I think that was a lot of my early riffage was like the 90s kind of grunge stuff, which was basically just more distorted classic rock riffs anyway, but with a little bit of punk rock thrown in.
Yeah, I think Kurt probably gets overlooked a little bit in terms of riffing.
Yeah, he had some stuff, man.
You know, it's like you think of him as being just like a grungy or a punk dude, and he's got like noisy stuff. When you listen to it, there's some fucking meat and potatoes there.
I read an interview a long time ago that said it was Chuck Klosterman, or I guess it was a review, and he had said that In Utero, it's like a lot of people don't talk about how In Utero sounds like the Jesus Lizard covering the Pixies inside Mecha Godzilla. I've always really liked that. It's like ugly riffs and ugly sounds, but it somehow made this huge, famous pop record or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. I think like newer riffs, like guys like Matt Pike are pretty undisputed, like fucking definitely. Riff lord. That dude is insane. And you got a handful of, I feel like Stoner Rock is full of those guys.
Definitely,
like Stoner and Doom.
A lot of the new death metal stuff too.
Yes.
Like,
absolutely.
Very riff heavy.
Yeah. But I mean, like when it comes to newer stuff, it's really hard to like, I feel like I just started leaving out so much shit.
Right.
Yeah, same.
I guess with the classics though, I mean like, pretty much what you said for me, Jared. Like Beavis and Butthead, AC/DC, and Metallica.
Oh man,
pretty much the two that I could think. I mean, I could act like I was like listening to all this underground cult shit and being a badass at 5. Like everybody lies and says that shit, you know. Yeah. But like those are the two that probably really did it for me, I would say.
Oh, dude, it took me a while to get to the cool guy status bands. It was Metallica.
I think the first riff I saw somebody play where I was like, "Whoa, that's sick," was LaGrange.
Oh, that is sick.
ZZ Top, man. Oh yeah, ZZ Top definitely top tier.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what Master of Sparks on Tres Hombres. That's like some of the weirdest riffing that ZZ Top ever did. It's like cool riffs that don't sound like anything else they ever did. It's like a little heavier, but the production's not heavy, so it sounds like a little more laid back.
Yeah.
It's like Brant Bjork wrote it. I love it.
Yeah, if you don't like ZZ Top, fuck you.
Agreed.
There's something heavy about the layout of that record too, because you open it up and it's the big plate of nachos.
Yeah.
And it's like you can feel the sheer like
I feel like I ate a big plate of nachos.
This is where I'm at right now.
Listen to that.
So once you guys like got to where you are now, taste wise, who are some of your favorite players now?
I would say, well, like Tony Iommi is always going to be on that list. Like that dude just wrote every good riff for 40 years. I've got a lot of weird ones like Greg Sage from the Wipers. That's a big influence on the way I play because he's always like building something interesting or unique off of a chord. Like he'll just play a chord everybody knows, but then move 2 or 3 notes around within it until it turns into like a way more interesting melody or riff. Like that dude's a big one. But then like, I think forming Nerve Endings, it was a big mix of, we kind of wanted like, I started writing a lot of stuff that sounded like Black Flag, and then it kind of started to show more how much Will and I were obsessed with 90s noise rock like Jesus Lizard and Unsane and like, you know, Helmet and stuff like that. We started putting more of the modern, like the influences that I guess we've been listening to more, you know, as adults or whatever.
You get a little bored with playing like doing the one thing, and you're like,
it started.
Pick some other stuff.
We started going, let's rip off Black Flag, and then we're like, let's rip off Black Flag and the Jesus Lizard.
Yeah. Instead of covering a song, you can just write a song. Right. It sounds like that.
Yeah, it sounds like a riff they forgot to write. Sure. Yeah, like Dwayne Denizen from Jesus Lizard is one of my favorite guitar players ever. He's a big one. Steve Albini from Shellac is a big one for me too. Kind of weirdos. I like weirdos.
Sure.
The Butthole Surfers and stuff like that. I like when people do something unconventional with music instead of like trying to just make another Black Sabbath riff or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not that I haven't written plenty of Black Sabbath riff.
Yeah, when it's done, it's done. It's so good, dude. Yeah. So
definitely. Good. I mean, probably the usual suspects, you know, we've been talking about too, but I think first thing that comes to mind is probably Tatsu Mikami from Church of Misery.
Okay.
Writes all their stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's like, he's probably like, I guess like as far as like a modern influence of somebody I'm like, I could definitely pick their ear about. And, you know, And I agree with what you say about the Black Sabbath shit. And that's pretty much all he's done.
Yeah.
But it just in a very good way.
Yeah, just-
and I think
just
that
being the
might
king.
be the big appeal to that to me is like, what is a riff that's going to like sound good that you want to listen to, you know?
Sure.
Yeah.
Like-
catches in your head so that you're thinking about it
Right.
after the song's over.
And Church have got a unique lens on it too, because his tone isn't just like his tone reminds me of like a noisier Blue Oyster Cult or something.
Yeah, for sure.
There's some other classic rock stuff swirling.
It's not
around
just
in there.
trying to like follow the, I mean, I don't want to say like the trend, like there is some like a trend, but like that typical sound that you hear in like a lot of bands, my bands included, try to do, you know, with like amp worship.
right.
I feel like they just get out there and fucking play.
Yeah.
Right. The amp worship place has got its stuff because
Definitely.
listened to for the first time in my life the Monolord Empress, Empress Rising, the Green record.
Yeah. We played with those guys in Nashville. It was fucking
Did you
sick.
really?
Yeah.
Damn, that's awesome.
Yeah, they're sick.
They're fun.
That was Mothlight, wasn't it?
Yeah.
R.I.P. Mothlight.
Oh no, man.
Such a good venue.
So I think you kind of already touched on a little bit with like doing the noise rock and
Yeah.
and Black Flag
As far as
thing.
like what we were thinking when we started.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of that came from also like Will and I had been in the Birds of Paradise for almost 10 years before that. So we were writing all these like 10-minute and 14-minute long songs that had like 8 different riffs and sections. And this
I wish I could write a
thing
song
would
like
be
that.
like, we're improvising here until David goes chugga chugga. And then we do the change and he decides, fuck, maybe it's 20 minutes tonight. Like we were kind of doing that for a decade. And when that band broke up, I was like, I want to write songs that are 3 minutes long and mean and fast and like intentionally abrasive and that kind of thing.
Get up there and like sweat and piss on the stage and get out of the way.
Yeah, just dumb it down.
Yeah.
And you,
just
you guys
bash it
are
out.
Shit.
you guys are like pivoting right now.
Yeah.
Working on a bunch of new stuff. What are the
sure.
conversations about where you guys are heading sonically?
Well, we're about to record a new album soon. If not at the end of the year, by the end of the year, at the beginning of next year. I'm pretty stoked, man. It's kind of got a little bit of everything.
Okay.
I say it's got like the same typical like stoner doom sludge shit, but we kind of got like some grungier shit, a death metalish track, one that's kind of black metalish.
Yeah.
And then it kind of, I don't know, it's got a little bit of everything, which is cool for me.
I feel like you guys write stoner rock riffs as people who also like clearly love death metal, and so
Yeah.
like it's like
If I'm
it's
trying
like if
to-
Obituary wrote a stoner rock riff or something.
Well, usually if I'm ever
more.
trying to explain to like to somebody, like if somebody I work with who's not like familiar with everything I ask, I usually say if like Black Sabbath or if Cannibal Corpse wrote songs like Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
That's kind of
pretty
what we
good,
sound like.
actually.
It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
if
that's pretty
people
accurate.
fist fought at Black Sabbath shows.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, that's it.
You guys have that thing with the riffs where it's like there's a meanness to them. I remember seeing you at like I think it was a Halloween night at the Hideaway pre-pandemic, and dude, there were like 3 fights during your set.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's the evilness, because I guess as far as like a riff to go on that topic, I mean, like
Yeah.
if I'm ever trying to write something, I feel like we always try to write something evil. Not always,
yeah.
but like typically it's like the evil shit that's really
Right.
badass to me. You know?
Sure.
It's like the
dude.
devil's tritone thing.
Exactly.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah. Just like the 06, 11, kind of working some stuff around that.
Yeah.
It's almost hard to snap out of that pattern sometimes.
For sure.
That is one thing too, just getting stuck in a pattern of songwriting where like sometimes I'll write 3 things and realize like, okay, these all have a lot of like similar traits, and then like you kind of have to force yourself to approach the next song differently so you don't end up with just a record of, you know,
The same song.
sameness.
They're all using like 014 and the
Right,
tritones
exactly.
and stuff
Yeah,
like
you got to
that.
start going, okay, well, we just did that twice. Now this thing, we got to put it in a different key and like,
Yeah.
work it out somehow that doesn't remind you of the song you just heard.
Yeah, well, the typical like blues key of like stoner doom. I always
Yeah.
like to step outside of that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know, you don't see that much. It's
You
typically
can get a lot
like
out of
in
a
the
half
box.
step on that. You can make a half step flat on any note in that box
sure.
and make it completely different.
Yeah.
But,
Sure. When you guys are writing, do you have like, how do you go about it? Do you have certain times where you set aside and you're like, okay, this is time for me to play my guitar and my bass?
Mine's random.
Mine's random too.
yeah.
Usually, like something comes to mind, or typically, like think like what would I like to listen to? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you write something, I feel like you just kind of know, like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of I feel like I play guitar every day, but not always with much focus. A lot of times I'll just be watching TV or a movie or whatever and just plunking around, and then you just kind of hit a couple things that sound neat and like, oh, okay, wait, there's something there, and kind of turn that into a riff. And I usually just like, I don't have a lot of disjointed riffs. I don't have like, I wrote this riff and this riff and this riff and I piece them together later. Like I normally, if I come up with one riff, I'll sort of focus on that and try to write just for that, like make that a song, like complete that idea. But I never know when one's going to come out. Sometimes I wake up and I have an idea, or I just be like, I want to write a fast song today. And then sometimes, you just literally your finger hits a wrong note and something you're goofing off on, and you're like,
Ears perk up.
that was
I've
cool.
like actually like sang riffs out loud, like on my phone, like recorded them before, just like a random riff pop in my head.
Dude,
I feel
would
like
you
it's
guys
all
go
random.
through your phone right now and play a random riff that you have saved?
I could find-
I've got riffs.
I'm sure you guys have so many in your
I've
phone.
definitely got some, but I don't know if any of them suck or not.
Hey man,
The voice memo
You
for
never
riffing
know.
is so real.
look at that. Would y'all be if I took the?
Dude,
this
you
is
can
my
take
brain.
two of them, brother.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, me and Jared will split this one.
Yes,
You're
we
taking
Sweet.
the-
Thank you, Jason.
fantastic hosts.
Uh-oh, we got so okay.
No, well, let's see.
How many are you up to in your phone? Is it like how?
This is like from years back too. Like, well, that's just 2020. Goddamn.
Yeah, dude. It's like an honest to God library you can pull from. If you're not utilizing the voice memo app on your phone,
Then you're.
you're crazy. You got
I
to start doing it.
sincerely have no idea what riff this even
Let's
is.
hear it.
Oh, that's a nerd. See, that's not even plugged in.
It doesn't have to be.
It's just. That's a very Nerve Endings riff.
It is. There's something
I can
about
hear it, you know?
that too. Like if you can write something on, if it's not plugged in or you're on an acoustic instrument and it sounds heavy, when you finally get it to an amp,
Then it just sounds so
it's
much
like
heavier.
bananas.
Yeah.
That's like the ultimate litmus test.
It's a punk song. It just does that over and over. Yeah, I've got my phone is completely full of that, and
Is that a banjo?
Yeah, I just clicked a random one. Yeah, we could do a whole nother show about that.
Just
We
going through the
go
phone?
fucking-
Dude, this is like such a game changer for anyone who's a songwriter. Just like getting an idea and having a thing in your pocket at all times where you can just get that idea down and remember it later.
sure.
Because I cannot tell you how many times in my life I've written something and been like, I gotta go to work now. I'm gonna work on that when I get home. Then you get home and you're like, I don't know what the fuck I was playing.
It's
I think I
definitely a
wrote
game
something last night that I was like, I'll remember this tomorrow.
No, you
and
never do.
it's already.
Or you remember like the chords, but the strumming pattern, like it's just
rhythm's
gone,
gone.
or whatever.
Yeah.
you just can't. You can't get it back. So this is like one of the biggest pieces of advice I have is just as soon as you write a riff, record it, take a video, whatever you got to do.
For sure. Because I feel like when you record it, even if you don't even like go back and listen to it, there's almost something about recording it that like solidifies it in your brain.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Like
think so,
writing
yeah.
a thought down or something.
Right.
Like if you
It
write
really-
something down, it like registers
Yeah.
more.
You've put more focus and thought into it than you would have if you were just like vibing and playing guitar or whatever, you know.
I've even taken it as far as to like every once in a while, I'll get a wild hair and go through, and like sometimes you'll have like 5 takes of the same riff because you keep messing it up or
yeah,
something.
yeah, absolutely.
It's like deleting all the extras
For sure.
and then naming the one that I keep something. That way it's like a little Rolodex of vibes, you know?
right.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I should probably start doing that. Mine's just like new recording 84. You know?
Exactly, dude.
You're like,
It
what
shit
the
is-
fuck? Which one was
Yeah.
84?
I thought I had something cool. It was just a banjo earlier. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Looking through those videos, I was like, it's a real crapshoot hitting
Yeah.
play on any of this. Some of
You
this
get a
could just
way
be
better
me doing
quality
a
with
terrible
the video,
like, John
too.
Prine cover in my living room or something.
I
Right.
would love to hear you play a John Prine song. That
I
sounds
play some
great.
country, and I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a thing that helps with your songwriting, and that all three of us are pretty good about. Is like not just listening to the kind of music you play, and not.
Oh, yeah,
like
man.
it's like we like aggressive music. We all write music for aggressive bands or aggressive sounding bands. We're all sweet nerds, really, I promise. But like we all listen to a ton of old country and you know,
Yeah, definitely.
fucking classic rock and jazz and blues and everything
I
else.
think that's
like,
important for like whatever art you, consume. I mean, like the stuff that you're writing, especially, you know, because if not, I guess you'd just be a fucking poser.
Yeah.
But you know, like, I think it's really important, like whatever you're creating, to like consume it all. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Check out stuff.
And it used to drive me nuts. You know, I don't feel like you see it as often now, maybe here and there, but coming up in the music scene in like the 90s and the early 2000s, there would be bands that clearly just had a meeting where they were like, I want to sound like Tool.
Yeah.
And everything we do from here on out will be in service of sounding like Tool. Or not just like bands like Tool, but they would pick Tool or Slipknot or Static X or Disturbed, or like they just pick some band and be like, we're going to try to be that band. And that's bonkers to be like, that band already exists and they're not very good. Why are you doing that?
Or for like, I mean, everything usually like in metal has to be metal.
Sure.
Which I get it. I mean, I love it, but I mean, there's a lot of elitists in that genre. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Same with hardcore.
As much as I love,
We both play in hardcore adjacent bands, and I love that stuff. But there's a lot of people in that genre that are like, you're not doing it right.
right.
And if you play something for long enough, you're gonna start searching. I feel like innately.
Yeah.
Like Kirk Hammett talking about coming up with riffs by trying to replicate scat lines from like bebop singers or whatever.
Dillinger Escape Plan rolling a D20 twice and being like, that's the time signature for the next riff.
That's psychotic.
Yeah, well, you got to be that band to do that, but
Still,
So when you guys play at home, it sounds like you probably both just have like a guitar sitting around or a bass sitting around you can just pick up.
yeah,
I got one for like several different tunings usually, you know. Tune this one to C sharp, this one will be in G sharp, you know, for our tuning, and then, you know, you gotta have something in standard too.
Right. When you do plug in, do you find yourself doing any like tone chasing or playing with different combinations of effect pedals or anything to try to stimulate ideas?
not too much. I feel like I write acoustically most of the time. Like I just kind of, I feel like I'm very rarely plugged in and like blasting like through an amp whenever I'm coming up.
I think that's important, because I think, you know, you playing that riff earlier, like I can hear Nervin explain that.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's like, I'm sure like when you write a lot of riffs for Godsize, you know, playing just clean on the guitar, not necessarily plugged in. I think like that imagination that you have, like that's when you can really feel a riff or feel a song, you know, when you can like write something, even if it sounds clean and it's stripped from everything.
It just still sounds mean somehow. But yeah, then there's that moment like we were talking about where you get it into the practice space with the boys and you turn the amp on and you're like, this sounds sick. Yeah. Wow, this is heavy. Yeah.
Somebody showed me this plug-in the other day for Pro Tools called STL Tones. Everybody probably already knows about this thing. I'm pretty ignorant. I just got my first interface.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like a little crappy one, just so I can try to like make some ideas like fleshed out a little more.
Oh yeah.
But this STL tone thing, you can download these tone packs, right? And you guys probably have USB interfaces here in Morels, right? This thing, you can buy these packs, and it's like guitar tones designed by a homie from Mastodon and like all these bands, right?
I think Gary Holt from DSI just come out with one.
Oh, that's sick. Oh yeah, you were talking about the 5151
Yeah,
earlier.
that's a different one, but it's the same type of thing.
Yeah,
it's just a different plug-in. I think it's Bogren Digital who makes this.
So that stuff is kind of fun because like
it's come a long way.
It forces you to almost play to the tone a little bit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
like sometimes you have to play to the sound that's coming out.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like that helps ideas like connect a little,
I know you
differently.
use an HM2 a lot, and I feel like that pedal is really one that makes you like play to the tone.
There's only one way, it's like a very
you have-
one-trick pony.
Yeah, if you use a chord that's too busy, it's not going to articulate all those notes and stuff. But if you're playing like a single note riff or just like a couple, like a power chord, it's
something where you picking like that, you
sounds
sound
gnarly.
like in tune.
Yeah.
You know?
It just and you hit the single notes and they sound, it's like synth big, you know, like a synth chord kind of thing.
Oh yeah, man.
Because you were talking about using an HM2 clone for bass.
But yeah, that was the Hagtronics HM2 was the first one that I ever played through, and I felt like whenever I started playing it, like you said, you feel like you play different based off of that. I mean, I felt like it was definitely, it unlocked like a certain type of metal riff that I was starting to play, you know what I mean? Like the Entomb stuff. And
Is that the silver one that they've got in the case over there?
He's got a smaller one, the little silver one.
Yeah.
But the one it's a newer one called the Harvester I was talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got a few more options, like a blend knob and stuff.
Yeah.
It's sick. I'm not just trying to plug this shit. Right.
No, that's one of our sponsors.
The art on it's pretty cool too, isn't it?
Right, man. Yeah. Who did that? I wonder.
I feel like I left Entombed out when I should have mentioned Entombed earlier.
Oh yeah,
Entombed. That I was like, oh yeah, best riffs ever.
For me, I did mention Cannibal Corpse. I feel like that would be my Entombed. Although I love Entombed just as much.
Dude, I'm a total poser with Entombed. You know what turned me on to that guitar sound and that riffing is Trap Them.
And
if I say otherwise, it's a lie.
Trap Them
Those are
fucking
riff
rules.
lords.
Those are records too that, like, if I feel complacent in writing riffs, I can get a Trap Them record out, because kind of like what you were saying, where you're moving Coffin Smoke, where you're trying to pull in different things. Man, it's all on there. You know, like really simple 1-2 punk beats and like arpeggiated black metal stuff.
Dude, I bought. I got into Entombed in early high school, because I bought Wolverine Blues because I'm a fucking nerd and I love the X-Men, and I was Wolverine.
Which
this is a metal album about Wolverine.
Which I think's pretty sick because, again, I was talking about the elitists. A lot of people don't like that, era of Entombed because, they did. I mean, the clandestine and the shit like
everybody
that.
Wants it to be clandestine and Left Hand Path, and they want it to be like brutal death metal, and then it's just like they started doing all these groove riffs and sludge.
But that's the shit that inspired all like Converge and like all the like Trap Them. Like that's the era that really like hooked people. I feel.
Converge covered Entombed. It's there's no argument about it.
Entombed has this thing. Like, something that I find really important when I'm trying to come up with a riff is, like, every once in a while there's like room for just one of these guys, you know? Yeah. But I like it to have like a little more like of that. You can kind of feel how it moves your body.
A bunch of death metal heads who are also obsessed with like Rocky Erickson and Alice Cooper and shit. And that's cool. Like, I'm super, and I always love how they would work an homage to another song into their song, and it's like some real music nerd shit you have to catch. But there'll be like a drum fill that's the exact drum fill from like a Sex Pistols song, or the beginning of was it Blood Song on Wolverine Blues is the same as the drum beat to $1 Billion Babies, the Alice Cooper song.
Oh, cool.
Like, they do a lot of little homages to like rock and roll, just throwing like a King Crimson like riff for one bar or something, and just kind of like wink wink.
Way before rappers were using other like historical people's lines to start their verses and
I
stuff.
love that because it kind of shows what we were talking about, like their inspirations and influences, and we sound like the heaviest band in the world, but we just kind of started out wanting to be Alice Cooper.
Like pulls the curtain back a little bit, and you get to see the wizard behind there instead of seeing like the magic show.
You're right.
But also, just like as far as guitar tone goes, like the first time I heard that tone, it was just like, it sounds like a rusty tank driving over buildings shooting nails at people. It's like the ugliest sound in the
something
world.
You shouldn't be listening to.
Which
I fucking
like,
love.
is your amp messed up? Because it sounds ugly.
Well, I guess that's another thing too, talking about like what riffs inspired you, like when you were younger. I feel like a lot of times for me, it was like stuff that you felt like you shouldn't be listening to,
Oh, yeah. Anything that might piss off your parents.
Yeah,
I love a good fuck you dad riff.
Right. Just like, what do y'all think of this? Yeah, definitely.
So you guys both go to and play a ton of shows. Are there any bands that you've seen where you come home and you're automatically just like, oh man, I've got to play my freaking guitar now?
I've been to two really recently. Pile, that's one of my favorite bands right now, and I just saw them a few days ago, and as soon as I got home was like, I need to get to work, man. I'm not fucking doing it. Those guys are doing it.
Yeah, right.
And then I just like a month ago went to see Melvins and Boris.
Oh hell yeah.
And I mean,
good shit.
Those are the daddies, you know. Sure. Anytime I come back from a Melvin show, I'm like, I should write a Melvin song.
Even if all you remember is him doing like the way he did one riff.
Oh yeah.
You capture that in your head and you go home and like flip it around and rearrange it.
But also local shows, like
that's what I was getting ready to say. I was like, not to sound like a kiss ass, but like local shows for me is the ones that make me want to go home and play guitar.
People raising the bar.
Yeah, and then not necessarily like in a competitive way at all, but more so like that was fucking awesome. I can't wait to get back out there and do that again.
Yeah,
because going to shows is like a really good way, I feel like, to kind of get the inspiration going.
Sure.
Right.
Well, that's what I did it for in the first place,
Yeah.
Like mainly like a lot of Travis's bands, like seeing a Koi, back in the day, I feel like was definitely one like really struck a nerve with me.
That's one of my favorite locals of all time.
There's one Akoi riff that I've been like trying to rearrange it and turn it into something that you can't tell I stole from Akoi. No, it's the one that's like dude, it's like Metallica. Yeah, it's so cool.
We know exactly what riff you're talking about, and that band hasn't played in a dozen years.
Yeah, I don't even think I've heard that song.
That's
how you
fucking
know it's a
awesome.
good
That's
riff.
a testament to that riff.
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So definitely, the local shit, I would say. I mean,
We played a lot of shows with Akoi when we were in Birds of Paradise, and that was one band that, like, every night, no matter what, I would just stand in front of the stage and watch them and just,
Yeah.
like, these guys are so good. Like, how's he make his guitar sound? It was just reverb pedal, but I didn't know anything.
it just felt like more real than it was, I guess. Yeah.
I think one of those bands right now for me is definitely Int.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so
That's
sick.
fucking
That's
rule.
one of my favorite locals.
Like Darby has grown up in a situation where he's been on the edge of like so much good music pretty much his entire life.
Now
and
it's all coming around.
you're really getting to see it shine through.
They're definitely one of those ones we talked about earlier where it's like applying getting weird with what they do. Like they're not really a genre
Yeah,
that does
we're
one
gonna
thing.
mix a crowbar riff with like a
fucking
D-beat
emo
riff.
song.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like a screamo, like Scrams thing, or we're gonna do like a His Hero's Gone part.
Yeah.
You
right
can
after
see
this
like
Weed Eater.
Jake's, you can see Jake's like stonery heavy Sabbath stuff, and then Darby coming with the like screamo-y, like emotional kind of
sure.
like sometimes it borders on black, like hard to put a label on.
Yeah, really.
And they just mix it all up in a way that's like, dang, dude, I'm gonna make a better riff. Now.
Yeah, those guys fucking rule.
And it's
Very heavy, like there's a lot of energy.
Generation of Vipers is another absolutely sick, just fucking unbelievable band around here. Like
They're kind of
every
painful
riff
to
is-
watch. Like you feel like you got your ass kicked after you
Yeah.
watch Generation of Vipers.
Also, just as a drummer, every time I watch Billy play drums, I'm like, I should just stop.
yeah,
what
there's
am
no
I doing?
He's like, there's no point.
Why am I bothering? Can't do any of that shit. Why am I even playing? Nah,
Oh.
which is a stupid way to think, but I feel that way in the moment.
Yeah, you're kind of like, okay, that dude was born to play drums.
Yeah.
I feel like we're all just like dabbled. Like, we started learning how to play guitar. There's certain people that were just like born for it. And BJ was
this
That guy's
beat,
a
like-
drummer. Yeah.
yeah. Like,
But
what
you'll
the fuck
also
even is that,
you get guys like that, and you think in your own mind, I guess, that all they listen to is the most technical shit ever. But guys like that are just as stoked about just a caveman 4/4 breakdown as anybody.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
for sure.
it doesn't always have
I feel
to.
like Bones and Mary was that way, I know
Another great
Jason
band.
Rice would probably like, he'd always say, well, you guys are this or that because we were more technical. But it's like, dude, for me, I like to just hear a riff like that.
Yeah.
Sure.
It just like goes on for a long time.
Right.
I mean, the groove and shit, like that's impeccable.
Kind of hypnotizes you.
Yeah, for sure. And that's really what makes people move,
Yeah.
Because I love when you guys do this in your bands, you'll find a riff that puts you in a state of mind. And sometimes when you're playing it in front of your amplifier just by yourself, you'll get it. And you just get in the zone and you just keep playing it and playing it and playing it. It's like
Sometimes when a riff is good, you got to keep doing it.
right.
You don't want to have a good riff and just give you 2 bars and yank it away from you.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like to do that.
Well, no, sometimes you have to.
It's like
Not everything can be dope smoke.
There's a thing where like it's like wow, there's 10 more riffs in this set.
Right.
I'm gonna play this one for one time around.
Right.
And the hope is that somebody will be like, dang, I'm gonna have to listen to that song again because they
gotta find
didn't
that
play the riff enough,
I think also like leaving people with like wanting more is a good thing too.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing with set times too. Like people that are trying to just like claw for every minute of an hour and 30-minute set. It works for some bands, obviously, but when you're playing like heavy music, when you're abrasive, aggressive music, like shorter sets, I feel like are more poignant. Like get in and get out, beat you over the head for half an hour, and then get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Instead of just being like, you like those riffs? Well, here's a bunch that sound kind of like that. We're
You
gonna
guys
do it
want to hear
forever.
100 songs?
We've all seen that band where you're like, oh, surely that was the end. They're like, all right, we've got a couple more left.
You're like, you guys want an encore?
get
You're like,
it.
you're the opener. What are you doing?
Right.
Yeah. No, it's good to fucking get in and get out.
Yeah,
Less
get
is
in,
more.
make it intense for half an hour.
The way
people
that
wanting
you
more.
guys were doing it, though, where you would play like 2 shows a year,
Oh yeah.
then it's like get all the water out of the rag.
For sure.
You know,
Yeah,
it's a little different.
It makes it more intense for us,
Mm-hmm.
you know, being like, oh shit, you know, it makes the shows like a more of a big deal, I guess. you
Super
know,
intentional.
for sure.
It's especially a good idea playing locally. Like,
Yeah.
our attendance really shot up when we stopped playing every 2 weeks.
Right, yeah, for sure. Well, and it's nothing like, it's not like people don't want to go see you. They're just like,
well,
well,
I
it's
saw
like
you 2 weeks ago. And you're
Weed
playing
Eater,
next
you know
week,
what I
so
mean?
see
If
you
I
again.
miss a Weed Eater show, I'll see them next 6 months.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's,
You're not
you
going to
know,
miss them. Like,
Exactly.
you'll catch them again for
Right,
sure.
you
Yeah.
know?
Man, they're honestly a band that I watch, and I
They
go
never
home
get old.
and
Yeah,
I want to like
never
play
get old.
guitar.
Talk about tone.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
And it's just
tone.
everything cranked all the way up.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
no, I think Dixie turned his bass up to 5 or up to 10, and then
Yeah.
everything else all the way to 0.
Yeah.
And then, you know, volume up to 10.
That sounds right.
Can feel it. Yeah,
it's
that's
fucking awesome.
that's
With
a
an
tone
amp the
you
size
have
of
to
a
play
Buick.
to too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh,
Couldn't
God,
be
yeah.
doing like necrophagus riffs with that.
No. If you did some trem picking or something there, you'd lose it. Just
Yeah.
be gone. But for what they do, that is the perfect tone.
Definitely,
That is I think God Luck and Goodspeed is like one of the heaviest songs or just collections of riffs I've ever heard to this day.
It really is.
And I'm reminded of that every single time I see them play live. Like, because they never like put that one right up front. You're always a few songs in, and then it starts, and you're like, oh yeah, this is the heaviest fucking thing in the world.
Yeah.
Like, this is a doomsday riff. This
Sometimes
is
you'll be
insane.
there like, oh, yeah, you know, you're at a Weed Eater show. And then when they start playing, you're like immediately sucked in.
Oh, yeah.
And it always happens. I've never been to a Weed Eater show and not seen like the whole entire crowd.
Right.
Just immediately just
Right.
be encompassed, you know, just.
That's they do a thing too that I think is important to think about when you're writing, especially with like as a unit with other people. You know, they're not like the worst live band in the world, but there's also not a huge emphasis on it being mechanical.
No, the
there's
sloppiness
a
is
feeling,
good.
Yeah, yeah.
and it works for them.
Yeah.
It's like don't get too sucked into making it sound like it's
Right.
perfect.
Yeah.
Right. Just be in the moment with it a little
Important
bit.
too. I mean, we talked about Generation of Vipers. To me, like, you know, you're talking about BJ on drums, you know, not saying I've never noticed his fuck ups, but saying, you know,
Yeah.
if there is a moment where he does hit his sticks or something
Yeah.
like that, to me, that's when you can like really feel it.
Yeah.
You know, when
Yeah,
a band like kind of fucks up and there's
Right.
that little human.
He's not a robot. He's passionate right
Exactly.
now. He
you know,
feels something right now.
Right.
Yeah.
That to me is more important than like knowing every note was
Yeah,
like.
it's
Right.
like I'd rather him get a little carried away and maybe hit this thing too hard.
Exactly, you
one
know.
time or whatever. Yeah. Agreed.
So you guys both, outside of music, y'all do tons of stuff. I mean, you make collages, flyers constantly.
Yeah.
You've got movies.
Too much shit going on. I need to quit.
Make entire movies. When you guys are working on that stuff, does it ever cross-pollinate into your playing? Do you ever come up with ideas when you're looking at visual art or anything like that?
I don't know if my own inspires any riffs, but I've absolutely written things based on like how I feel after watching a movie or like, you know, kind of ingesting a lot of someone's art or something like that. Like I think art has an influence. I feel like when I do my own art, it's so well, if it's a flyer, it's like kind of there's a specific purpose I'm trying to achieve of like I need an image with enough space here to put this, and like I don't know, I feel like I just kind of think of it as art, but promotional material or whatever. And then my collages, I feel like most of that comes from me just wandering around my office high going like, that would look cool with that. I'll do that. Whatever. So I don't know how much my own visual art cross-pollinates, but I've taken some inspiration from that. I've honestly probably taken inspiration from yours because I love everything Dylan does.
Oh, well, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Artistically in any regard, but yeah, like I love the scuzzy, dirty looking,
Right.
psychedelic horror art.
Right, hell yeah.
Yeah. But it's a little cartoony and fun too. Like you
sure.
feel like good about it.
It's almost got a little cute.
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'd pretty much say the same thing you said. I mean, a lot of times I guess maybe it's the music I'm listening to when working on visual art that'll kind of lead to inspiration.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess, sometimes you do something that like creates a feeling that might like bleed over into like musical stuff. But for me, I'd say it's probably just more so like the music I'm listening to and the way I feel like when I work on a piece or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know why it is, but I think when I do anything or when I'm working on things outside of writing music or playing music, there's something about not focusing on it, less than whatever I'm doing being an inspiration, but just that my attention is totally off of it. It's like every once in a while it'll allow an idea to like pop through.
It's almost like meditation.
Yeah.
Right.
In that way, like you're like kind of letting your mind blank while you focus on something that's mostly, mechanical or whatever, and then
You're just kind of letting your third eye open.
Yeah, man.
That shit.
Black Tool, man.
Exactly, man. No wonder these dudes wanted to start so many fucking Tool bands.
That's honestly like you're roasting it, but seeing Tool came back from that, and then off a conversation like this, in combination with seeing them, I instantly wrote a song.
Oh hell yeah! Tool's talented. I'm just making.
Yeah, I get it. How often are you guys throwing riffs away? Like, how many are you keeping versus how many are you just ditching?
I don't know if I've ever like specifically like thrown one away. I probably just like forget about them.
Yeah, that happens.
How many end up in a song?
Almost
Very
everything,
few.
really.
I'll say almost everything.
Yeah, well,
I'm
I
not
feel
so
like
bad.
riffs
What
are
the
so.
bastard?
I feel like riffs are really fleeting.
Making me feel
for me.
self-conscious.
Like it's like more like I'll fuck around and I'll come up with something, and if it's like not great, I'm just done. Like within 5 minutes. Like it's like I don't record it. I don't think about it ever again. It felt just like a step in the process to get to the riff I liked or whatever. So I feel like I never record anything or keep it unless it's like something I really feel good about. That's not every song. Sometimes you go back and listen to the thing you recorded last night and you're like, this fucking sucks. Or sometimes you go back and listen to it and you're like, that's Rock You Like a Hurricane. That's already a song.
That's the worst.
I just do.
Yeah, I hate doing that, man. You're like, shit, that's already a song.
You're like, dude, this riff is sick.
Do I bring it up,
like, that's
or do I
Megadeth.
just act like it didn't happen?
Yeah, yeah. Some bands just don't act like it didn't happen, and
That's my whole MO. I just act like it didn't happen. I'll like pick out riffs that I love and just play them and switch parts around and make them backwards until it's like unrecognizable
like, that's
enough.
not a Marauder riff. I don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
exactly. Exactly. Well, Marauder inspired.
Well, like listening to Marauder after playing with you guys, like I could totally hear the influence, but I don't listen to either one and think, oh, they ripped that off.
No, I don't think you guys are
think there's
derivative of them, but I did. Well, I guess I already knew that was like an influence of yours. You've seen your hardcore bands and stuff. But like,
There's a difference between stealing and like, writing something that was inspired by something, like an homage to somebody rather than something that is like stolen.
Yeah.
You just roll your eyes at like a fucking stolen riff,
Yeah. Or even if it's not a stolen riff, if it's just like, sometimes you just hear a song where like, you're like, I can clearly tell you heard this other song and just tried to go like, let's do that. Let's make the vibe of that. And we're going to do this part and all that. Yeah.
Like nobody else has fucking heard it before.
Right.
Like they're the first
Throw an
person.
HM2 on it and call it new.
I mean, honestly,
the Vespers trick is we did just a little bit of reverb and delay on it, and then you're like, no, it's ethereal.
yeah, just play a blast beat instead of something else. No one will ever know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you guys are like, when you get into phases where you're just not liking anything you're coming up with, or I guess essentially writer's block, how do you guys deal with it?
One thing I like to do sometimes when I can't come up with anything for a while is just learn some covers, like learn some other people's stuff. That's not fun for everybody, but I think it's fun to just kind of sit there one night, a couple beers and pick apart a song and, learn a new chord you didn't know or learn a new way to approach something you never fucked with before. And now you're like, oh, all right, I can integrate that into my playing. I like learning covers for that reason. I don't learn a ton, but sometimes I feel like that's a good step. And then also just listening to music all the time, just being a music nerd. And like, if I ain't got any ideas, I'll just give it a while. I'll listen to 100 records between now and 5 days from now, and then hopefully something breaks loose.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would say just wait it out. That's usually what I do.
Yeah.
Patience.
Yeah, because sometimes it's like that. I mean,
You can rarely force it.
no,
Definitely
for sure.
can't force it, yeah.
Looking
That's how
through
you
my
end up writing
phone.
Rocky Like a Hurricane again.
Yeah, exactly. It is. If you really try to force it, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Looking through those riffs on my phone earlier, like I knew that there was like a spell, I think at the beginning of the year where I was writing riffs like crazy, and I don't know, I just come home and play guitar a lot, and then I'll go through phases where I really don't play other than at practice sometimes. But then there's sometimes where I just like don't put a guitar down.
It's something. I think it's good to give yourself a break too.
Definitely.
Like
Let it get
sometimes it's
cold.
good to just. All right, I don't have any ideas. I'll just go play video games. I'll go hang out with the homies or whatever. Like
In my early 20s, I felt like that was tough. 'Cause
Yeah.
I felt like I was like losing it or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
am I out of ideas?
Yeah,
Is
and
this
then
it?
now I'm like, oh, okay. It's one of those phases again.
Right.
Now I do nothing, and
It's like maybe I'm just depressed this month and I
Yeah.
need a minute or whatever.
Sometimes depression can be fun, man.
Yeah, yeah.
you know what?
Sometimes it gives you the good riffs, and sometimes it
Fuck
doesn't.
it.
Yeah, can I get 2 big double trays? That's where you get the heavy riffs right there.
Exactly.
The heavy riffs come from pals.
But definitely, so the learning stuff, I definitely have started to lean into that a little more.
Yeah.
What was the Unleashing the Bloodthirsty, that Cannibal Corpse song? It's got the crazy chorus section with like the sliding octaves and the big trills and the da-dun, chun, chun, cha-dun, chun, chun.
Heavy.
I learned something like that, and like, dun, dun. Man, putting stuff like that in my head and seeing how other people play definitely will spark something eventually.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's important to like. I know one thing about you too is like you show admiration for other players, and that's something we all have in common. And I think that really is a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Is like learning other stuff, thinking about other stuff, listening to different music.
Yeah, going to see other bands that are like your peers.
Right.
All of that stuff is super important.
Which is also just a really important part of if you're like new to starting bands and you want to get to know a scene or be a part of it, like go to other people's shows and talk to the other players. It's not sports. It's not like you're not trying to win music. Like go make friends and
For sure. If
like,
quit
learn
acting
from
like
other
you're the
people.
best. Yeah. I mean,
Man, I absolutely punished Will about Lur after your last show.
Yeah.
Just like, dude, I don't know what it is, man, but you sound like Lur when you play, dude. You like Promise? just freaking letting him have it about it. Because he does that thing. I don't know if he gets this from you. But like,
They're both obsessed with Zappa.
he knows
and Will.
every spot to hit on his guitar that will make a strange and unique noise.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so freaking cool to watch that.
We've spent a lot of time making noises. That's another thing with like Will. I've played with him uninterrupted for almost 22 years. Like we played in the Birds of Paradise for about a decade, and we're 11 years into Nerve Endings now. So we've been in a band together every day of the last 22 years.
That's so crazy.
So when you're like working with someone like that, it becomes really easy to write a riff and come in and teach it to him in 10 seconds. Like he just knows how to play guitar.
Sure.
Like I write everything on guitar first and bring it to him and show him the guitar part, and then he learns it. I mean, by the time I'm done playing the song the first time through, Will knows it front to back. Like
He's like, that riff's
great.
cool, man.
He's
Can you
great.
just like play bass and I'm gonna fucking make noises?
Well, yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
It works.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It's good. It's you develop a strange like psychic connection with someone musically when you've been playing that fucking long. Where you're just like,
man. Definitely.
like I feel like I could start playing a song in the wrong key and he wouldn't even have to think to just play it also in that key or whatever. At this point, like he's just like,
got
it's
you
Jared.
like
He
that.
drank a few beers tonight. It's going to be weird. All right. Let's like,
Yeah. Sure, man. Me and Ross can just like play.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and like I'll even like change the riff, and he'll change the drum beat. It's
Yeah.
almost like we know exactly where the song should go. It's really
How long have
strange.
you guys been playing together?
Probably about 15 years.
I'd say, like, because you guys played. I mean, when you were in Forks of Ivory, you used to play with
Yeah,
Birds of Paradise
for sure.
a million years ago.
yeah, so definitely. I mean, that's been very consistent there, and you know it's weird, like how you said, like a telepathic like communication.
Yeah,
you
like
almost know immediately like what
you
the
don't
other
have to-
person's going to do.
You don't have to tell them to do it.
Alan's the
Just
same
do it.
way. Definitely, I don't want to leave him out of that.
Right.
But, he's definitely the same way on guitar. Or sometimes Alan will play like a riff that I might play on bass a little differently, and I think that's what's cool too. Is I don't know how much you guys like let the other members of the band sometimes like take control of a song, but I like to do that.
I prefer to do it when I can. It's a good feeling because it's just like we've got this freaking banger song that Will wrote. It's kind of like in the chamber right now.
Nice.
I kind of always let like Will and Noah that sounds lame. Encourage Will and Noah to like change their parts and like make it their own on whatever I bring in. Like it's like this is kind of the skeleton of the song, and you guys can build around that.
Sometimes I'll say I want you to alify it if I'm you know what I mean? Because he'll just kind of like put that certain twist on it that I couldn't have done that like is unexpected.
Yeah.
He brought a song to Godsize. It was like this really killer, like, dude, I don't know, like almost like a rock and roll, like Motorhead metal riff kind of thing.
Shit, yeah.
And you were showing it to us at practice, and you were like, I was kind of thinking about, having like this kind of drum beat, And me and Joey were like, yeah. 4 count, play it lightning fast.
Right.
I don't know if this is what you're talking about, but this is what we picked up on.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's always fun, man.
Do you do most of the writing in?
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, and I would say it's definitely a joint effort.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think a lot of times it's like the riffs that I play around the house.
Right.
Bring to them, and like I said, sometimes they'll alify the riff a little bit, like tweak it up a little bit. And Ross will have a lot of input too on like, what like the composition, I guess, what it goes like as far as like the whole rhythm point of it, or whether it should be this speed or that speed. Sometimes I've taken like a really fast riff and like we've slowed it way down. The song "Seeing You Bleed" was like that. It was originally like we turn into and something like that I wouldn't have done originally, like they come up with.
Right.
So, but yeah, I would say definitely as far as like most of the songwriting stuff.
It's important to be like
initial
open
phase.
to when you hear a good idea someone else has.
Yeah, definitely.
And I know some players have ego about that, and they're like, "That's not the song. You're not doing it right."
No,
you gotta serve the song.
And you get the happy accidents too, where you'll do something in practice that's not necessarily how you wrote it, and somebody's like, "Hey, that sounded kind of cool."
Yeah, sometimes you'll fuck it up. Better.
Oh, that happens a lot. Yeah.
Guys, thank you all for tuning in. Listen to us bullshit
I'll tell you
about.
who's not an influence is Scott Thomas.
Yeah, I talked shit about him last time. Scott, if you've made it an hour and into this bullshit, then we hate you.
He's actually a very big influence. I kind of learned a lot about drums by standing behind him at every Punch and Judy and Omega Tribe practice for several years.
Yeah, Scott's the man.
But fuck that guy anyway.
I don't know him well enough to be comfortable saying fuck him. I can't just pile on the joke, but I do love him.
Can't roast him quite yet.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, man, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank Morels, the Jasons, for letting us do this. Hopefully you go home and write a song now. Write a heavy riff. Anything you guys want to say?
Yeah, hopefully you're inspired. I mean, I don't know why you'd be inspired by our dumbasses, but if you are, then cool. I mean, if somebody's inspired by the stuff we do, I think we're doing our job right for real. Because we're here because we were inspired by other people,
by other local dudes, other guys around here that were doing the same thing we're doing in a tiny town, but just like bringing it.
Yeah.
And the selfish thing of this was like, I wanted to get you guys in here because I knew I'd want to go home after this and play my guitar.
Hell yeah.
I'm like, maybe it'd be cool in front of the camera. Dude, if it sounds like your two bands put together, then I'll be freaking stoked.
Yeah.
The only other thing I'll say is start a band, write songs, play shows, learn how to make a zine, learn how to promote your shows and make a flyer, and just go do it. Get out and do it. Don't
just do it. Yeah,
do it
sure.
Fuck TikTok. Go out and play shows and connect with people and build your community.
Yeah. Yeah, do it yourself. If you do what you like to do, then it'll catch on and it'll happen.
Play the riffs you want to hear.
That's right. If they don't like it, fuck them.
That's a big important part.
Peace, guys.
Thanks, guys.